Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name's Chris, and tonight I checked out the new movie, The Last Matinee. It is directed by one Maximiliano Contenti. Pretty sure I butchered that name, I apologize. So The Last Matinee is about a killer who shows up at the last showing of a horror movie in this small movie theater in, I think, 1993, and begins picking off people, and they are unaware that this is happening, and then some hijinks ensue. This is a down and dirty slasher movie with a very strong Italian giallo bend to it. There's very little storyline here. If I said a few more things, I would basically encapsulate entirely what happens in this movie, because it's more about fetishizing a lot of the kill sequences. You know, a lot of action movies are all based around these interesting set pieces to keep you entertained, and as long as they're doled out right, you don't need too much of a complicated story. And that's how a lot of slashers are too. As long as the kills are fun and they're paced and the movie's paced well, I can be on board for it. And this movie is a mixed bag. I think once it gets going, the last half an hour, it's consistently good and fun, but the first hour has its moments, but it's definitely slower paced. That being said, the movie looks fantastic. I really, really like the look of it. It's definitely Italian inspired. It's just very moody. It has this hazy kind of dreamlike look, very surreal. There's bloom on all the lights and everything like that. It's lit really well. It has just this strong ambiance to it that I really got invested in. I like the celebration of the theater as well. They go through this moment where they're talking about the projection and switching out lenses and all this stuff. It's all kind of interesting, all celebrating the movie theater experience and just kind of the love of that craft. So that stuff was all cool. The kill sequences, again, like a giallo where they really fetishize those things, are done really well as well. So I was on board for all that stuff. It's just, I think some people are going to be turned off because there is literally no motivation, no backstory, very little to no explanation for why things are happening. It's just this kind of moment in time for these people in this movie theater, and a guy comes along and starts killing people. It's also kind of weird because for the first 3/4 of the movie, like the first hour or so, no one realizes that there's a killer in the theater. It's just people are being picked off, which does hurt like tension building, because you were just kind of actually waiting for somebody to die because you wanted to see how cool it would be, as opposed to like being invested in any of the characters. And there's a lot of characters. It's kind of an ensemble cast. I think the one is supposed to be like the lead protagonist, this woman who shows up and kind of takes over her father's job for the night, although she's not in it very much more than anyone else either. So it's hard to say who the lead is, and I don't even know if it really matters. The antagonist is just as big of a mystery, if not more, and I won't spoil where the movie goes, but I will say he's credited as the Eye Eater. So that might get your mind going a little bit there. It's a fun movie. I love the giallo stuff. You have the people in gloves, you have this voyeuristic aspect as well. The kills with the knife are always personal, and it goes for it with the gore, the blood, and the lighting. It all comes together pretty well. It's just mindless, but it's fun, and I guess that's what matters. If you can make it through like the first half an hour, it starts to get more interesting. Beyond that though, like if you're into just like cool visuals, it's there, and that was what kept me invested for like the first 30 minutes. The only other thing that kind of stuck out to me was the musical score, and sometimes it's pretty good, and other times it feels like this modern synthwave 80s throwback thing. They're trying to sound retro. I don't know, it's been done so many times now. I don't think it really added anything to this movie. I would have preferred something a little bit more unique, I think. Maybe because giallo movies, they had like such great scores, and they were always like eclectic, and they had stringed instruments and stuff. And I know they're not going to hit like the heights of a Goblin or something like that, or a Morricone soundtrack, but something a little bit more inspired by those kind of bands, since the rest of the movie feels so inspired by the giallos, would have been cool for me. But anyways, there's a lot to like about this movie, so if any of this sounds interesting to you, maybe you should check it out. If you like slasher movies, probably check it out. It does feel different than your standard slasher. Like, I talk about Terrifier a lot on this channel because it's a modern day slasher that a lot of people like. And there's a lot of comparisons here with the little story, but a lot of gross kills and stuff like that. But you get the different animals here, one with a foreign bent, inspired by a very specific genre and specific time of movies. That gives it definitely a different kind of feeling and mood. So yeah, check it out, The Last Matinee. It's out now for rent and VOD. All right, that's gonna do it, guys, for this episode. If you liked it, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you watched this movie, you have thoughts on it, please comment below. It helps out the channel, and I will catch you here next time. Goodbye.